Hey, welcome back. In this episode, I'm going to answer the question, how do I determine the value of my land? And I get this question all the time. How do I determine the value of my land, or what's it worth? What's my land worth? I'm going to show you how in this video. All right, let's kick off this video. Is it easier than you think it is to figure out what the land is worth? 2, I want to show you the places of how you can do a quick internet search. And then finally, I'm going to show you my easy button for how to figure out the fair market value of land. All right, I want to show you steps to make this as simple as possible. It could be just literally a couple phone calls. That first phone call, you can call your county assessor, wherever you're at. Let's just say you're in El Paso County, Colorado, and just get on the phone. Google the El Paso County assessor's phone number, dial them, and get someone on the line and say, hey, I've got 5 acres in El Paso County. It's located in this town, this city, or it's off of this street. Here's the APN, the assessor's parcel number. They can look it up for you, and oftentimes, and they can tell you the value of your land. Or you might be wondering, what in the world do I ask these people? I just say, how do I determine the value of my land? What is my land worth? These guys can help you. They deal in this every single day. I want to give you another option of people that make their living selling this land, and that would be real estate agents, licensed real estate agents. Not all real estate agents deal in vacant raw land, and not all of them are going to be willing to help you, but I guarantee if you call 3 realtors, they will probably be willing to help you, because the way they look at it is if they serve you, eventually you'll hopefully do some business with them. So let's start. How to find a realtor that deals in raw vacant land. I like to call a real estate office as close to the area as possible that I'm in, that I'm interested in figuring out what the land is worth. So let's just say it's in Yoder, Colorado. I'm going to call a real estate office as close as possible to this town, and I'm going to get them on the phone and say, hey, I'm looking for your realtor that deals in vacant raw land. So they're going to put me on the phone with that person, or maybe they don't have that person, and I'm going to ask them, well, great, would you refer me to a real estate office or a realtor that deals in vacant raw land? So once that person's on the phone, once that realtor that's a land expert is on the phone, I'm going to say, hey, I've got a piece of land in this area, the land that I'm interested in trying to figure out what the fair market value is. I'm going to say, hey, I'm looking for the 30-day blowout price on this 5-acre parcel. And the reason why I say 30-day blowout price is because I want the get it done now price. I don't want the pie in the sky a year from now price or 10 years from now. I want the actual price. That is the fair market value. That's how I determine what my land value is today, because we're talking about today, not a year from now. So when that realtor tells me, I'm going to thank them for their time and say, great, I'm trying to buy the land, or great, I'll call you back. And then hopefully we can build a business and I can serve that realtor and they could serve me. I want to give you another example, an example that you can use late at night when no one's answering the phones, and that is Zillow. Zillow.com is a treasure of resources. They give you exactly what the land is worth. They show you the solds. They show you what's for sale. So let me show you the parameters on how to search Zillow and figure out what the land's worth, like what's the fair market value. So I want to start out in the sold section. So you want to pull up Zillow.com, and then you want to go to your area, whether it's Colorado Springs, Colorado, whatever area you're in. That's what you want to put in the search bar, and you want to get as micro as possible. So remember, the county is bigger than the city, and the city is bigger than the town. So if you can label it down to the town, I gave you an example already about Yoder, Colorado. So Yoder is in El Paso County, Colorado. So we want to type in Yoder, Colorado, and let's just say we're looking at 40-acre parcels in this area. We want to see what the 40-acre parcels are selling for. So we want to click solds, and then we want to go to the house type, and we want to click on that, and then we want to deselect all. And then we want to select land and lots. That's all we want selected. And then we want to go to more, and then we want to take out the HOA, because in this area there's no HOAs. Now if you were looking at land in an HOA, you want to select the HOA. So remember, we always want the comparables to be as close as possible. Apples to apples, not apples to pineapples. So we're looking at apples to apples here. So no HOA, and we want to scroll down, and we want to look at the land acreage size, or the acre size. If we're looking at 40-acre parcels, my minimum I'd be willing to look at would be a 35-acre parcel, and the maximum would be about a 45-acre parcels. The larger we go, the more we can pull those parameters out. Then we want to scroll down a little bit more, and we want to see sold in the last 6 months. We want to keep it within the time frame. And then once we do that, we click done, and then we go to the map side and we start zooming in. We start checking those properties, looking at them, making sure there's no outliers. If we see that they're all generally going for, let's just say, I'm going to keep really round numbers, 1,000 per acre. So generally we're seeing stuff selling for $35,000 to $45,000 total purchase price, because 1,000 per acre, multiply that by 35 acres, that's a $35,000 sales price. So I said purchase price, but we're on the sold. So we're looking at sales prices only right now. That gives us $1,000 per acre. Let's just say you see one 40-acre parcel going for, $120,000. That's 3,000 acre, 4, 8, 12. That is an outlier. I don't want to use that as a comparable property. That's not an apple to apple, that's an apple to an orange. So let's click on that outlier and let's see why it went for $120,000 when the average piece of land is going for, let's just say, $40,000. So $40,000 is the average, but we found one that goes for $120,000. That's an outlier and I want to throw it out usually. But let's see why. We find out there's a septic system on it, or there's water already installed and electric, all those three things. That is not a good comparable because we're looking at vacant raw land that has no electric, water, or septic. So you just want to remember that. Keep those similar. So that's the Zillow example. And then one more I want to talk to you about is landwatch.com. Landwatch.com. These are where investors are putting their land on this website to sell it. And let's click on Yoder, Colorado again. Pull up landwatch.com, pull up Yoder, Colorado. And then we want to look at, the land that's anywhere from 35 to 45 acres. We want to select undeveloped land because we want to see only vacant raw land. And we want to look for like a trend. We want to see patterns. We want to see that this stuff is being sold for anywhere for $1,000 to $1,500 an acre. We want it to be somewhat close to Zillow because we're pulling all these together and then averaging. What did the Realtor say? What did Zillow say? What did LandWatch say? I like to do 3 at least. That way I'm kind of seeing the average because we want to operate on average when we're trying to determine the fair market value. All right, so I talked to you about several cool ways to figure out what the actual fair market value is or how to determine what my land is worth. I want to tell you a quick pro tip about how I can actually get a purchase price. I can sell my land for double what the fair market value is. But before I do, I want you to click that subscribe button because that's the only way I'm going to tell you about this. Go ahead, click it. I'll wait. I hear it brings good luck. Now that you've hit that subscribe button, I'm going to tell you a quick pro tip of how I double the sales price of fair market value. So let's just say we're talking about that Yoder, Colorado land, and we got a 40-acre parcel. It's going to sell for $1,000 an acre. So I can sell this piece of land for $40,000. 1,000 acre times 40, that's $40,000. But I'm willing to hold seller financing. I'm going to take a $1,000 down payment and then I'm going to take a monthly payment for the next 30 years at 6% interest. You might be thinking, whoa, I don't have that much time. I don't want to do that. Just bear with me. Just hold on there with me. I want to tell you the trick that the banks use. Banks have something called a 30-year mortgage. I want to show you an example of a 30-year mortgage at 6%. Let's just say we have a $200,000 mortgage at 6%. If you rode that thing out for the next 30 years, paid every payment on time, never refinanced, you would pay over $420,000 for a $200,000 mortgage. Does that really sound like 6% to you? No, it's compound interest. Compound interest works this way. Albert Einstein said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Those who understand it, earn it. Those who don't will pay it. So keep in mind, if you've got something like this and you want to sell it on seller financing, 30-year mortgage is the way to go. You offer the land and the easy seller financing, and you're going to almost double what you can sell it for. Let's get back to my easy button I told you about. The easy button that we use to figure out what our land is worth, and that is a program called Price. This program shows you exactly what the land value is, what it's worth per acre in your exact area, and it also shows you what you could pay for it if you wanted to pay only 20 or 30 cents on the dollar. That's when you're offering for that land. You might not be interested in buying land, you might just be interested in just selling your land, but bear with me. Think about it from a land investor's point of view. They want to buy at 50 cents on the dollar. That way they can turn around and sell it for like 90 cents on the dollar and make a quick profit. Well, Priced helps you do that. They show you exactly what it's worth. They show you the comps they're pulling rather than having to call a realtor and go to Zillow and LandWatch and Redfin. It's all there in one place. And if you go down below in the description and click on priced.com/thelandsharks, that will give you a 7-day free trial, and your first 400 records are completely free.